Okay guys, so long time no see, but I am back in the garage as you can see. And we're going to try to build something. I got a couple old rims sitting here in the garage. I'm going to show you that in a minute. We're going to try to build a little small barbecue pit. Let me show you what I got. This is what we got. We got these rims that a trailer I bought like a year and a half, 2 years ago came with these old mobile home rims on them. I actually got 4 of them, but I was able to get the tires ripped off of these two. This one here, and then this one here. What we're going to do is we're going to cut on this center piece out. You can't even see that. So there's a center piece. Let me get closer here. There's a center piece right here where the rim we're going to keep the deep end as the top. We're going to use the other end of the bottom. We're going to cut this rim in half. We're going to cut both of them in half actually. And we're going to try to make a small little barbecue pit using these rims. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that I had zero original ideas. So what I did was I went on YouTube and I stole someone else's idea. Pretty good at that. So no original ideas here. This is completely stolen from another channel where we're going to do the same exact, well, we're going to take his idea, what I stole, and we're going to add some touches to it to make it unique for me. But anyways, that's what we got. No original ideas, but we're still going to build something. So stay tuned for that. Really? All right, so we just ran into our first problem. That kind of stalls this project in its tracks. And that is, if you can see here, this is kind of deep here where I want to cut this at. It's really deep, and you can see where I started to cut that, right there. But the problem we're running into is the head of my grinder is hitting on the wheel, and you can see the gap in between the wheel. The wheel's not big enough. I'm gonna have to do some more research and figure out how I can make that. I don't think I can get a bigger wheel. That's a brand new wheel, so that's as big as it's gonna get that I can get on that little grinder. I have no other way of cutting it that I can think of. I'm gonna have to do some, I don't know, I can get a Sawzall out. That's gonna be a joke. That ain't gonna work. Anyways, what I need is a plasma cutter. Plasma cutter would get the job done perfectly. So maybe I'll just go on Amazon and order a plasma cutter just for this job. Sounds like a good appropriation of money to me. Plus, that gets me a plasma cutter in my garage that I'm never in to work in anyways. So yeah, let's just do that. So I was able to cut the back rim, and yeah, it's not too warm. So you can see here, that is the rim. And what I did was I cut that off of the back. So I went, if you look here at this rim here, you've got a narrow or a shallow and a deep. I want to use the deep end as the barbecue pit. So we're going to cut it here when we get our plasma cutter. But for now, I cut this rim off the bottom side of that one. So we got the deep end. So now, that's our pit. And what we're going to do, we'll take a flat piece of steel and we'll cut it to match that. And then we'll weld that piece of flat steel onto here to cover that up. And we'll do some other stuff we'll get into later. So this will be the pit part. And what this rim's going to do, what this piece we cut off is this thing's going to sit right on there perfectly. Right? So, got that. Now we're going to have to come back through with a grinder and clean this up a little bit. We'll do that. And we'll clean up the back side so it sits level. It's not bad, but you're using an angle grinder, so it's not going to be perfect. But it's not bad. It needs a little bit of cleaning up. And what we're going to do with this rim is we're going to actually weld on some expanded metal to make a grate so we can put our food on. And then this thing will sit like that over top. And then we're going to do some other stuff to make it kind of unique. So anyways, that will take care of the first one. That's all I can cut for now. So I figured out a way to cut this one in half, which I can't do with my angle grinder. But what I can do is on this second one, actually, I can do that on the second one. I'll cut the rim off like I did on the first one. And that way, that's ready to go. And yeah, we can do that. Get that done on the second one. And then we're basically done until I figure out a way to cut these in half. I can't do it with an angle grinder. At least not that angle grinder. Maybe there's another angle grinder that has a bigger blade on it or something. But this angle grinder ain't gonna do it. My plasma cutter has arrived. All right, so here it is. And I got it off Amazon, 180 bucks. It was 165 bucks, 170, free shipping, but then you have to pay taxes on it, which is a scam, but whatever. Anyways, this is what we got, and I don't know what brand it is because there's nothing on it. That's the brand, if you can figure that out. So it's pretty basic stuff here. Got the regulator and everything back there hooked up, everything like that. It's got a pressure gauge on the front, which is pretty cool. And then an amp readout. Let me turn it on here real quick. And we're cutting on 42 amps is what I was screwing around with. This thing adjusts the amps. So as you move that, the amps adjust. This is the air. Something to do with the air whenever you're running the gun. It blows air out to keep the tip cool. So we were running it on 42 amps. And I cut a piece of 1/4 inch steel. And that thing cut that like butter. So 1/4 inch angle iron cut it pretty quick and pretty fast. And that's not even, that's only 42 amps. It can go up to 50 amps. And I got it hooked up with a 220 plug. You can see behind me right there, I got my wheel sitting on the bench. We're going to throw it on the floor because I don't want to cut on the bench. We're going to fire up this plasma cutter, which is right there. And we're going to see if we can cut this wheel. Pretty sure we can. This ain't much thicker than, I don't know, maybe 3/16. We just blew through that 1/4 pretty easily. Let me throw this thing on the ground, fire up this plasma cutter, and get this wheel cut in half. I gotta tell you, running a plasma cutter is way funner. Way better. We'll go with better. Than a cutting wheel on a frickin' angle grinder. That sucks. But this plasma cutter, man, it does pretty good. Let's take a look at what we got here. So these are the two pieces. We got the deep end. This is gonna be our pit, the actual pit. We're gonna weld a piece of flat steel on this. It's not too hot. And this is going to be our base. We'll weld something on here, maybe not a full piece of flat. This will sit on the ground. There'll be a pole that runs up so many feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever it is. And this will weld on. And this will be the pit part. So, I don't know, 7, 8 inches deep maybe, something like that. Anyways, let's take a look at these cuts. Now you got to remember, before you go in the comment section, you can go in the comment section and tell me how bad I did. But you gotta remember, this is the first time I've ran a plasma cutter. So there's definitely room for improvement, but it's still cut pretty stinking clean. And it's not the straightest, I don't think, but it's not bad. There's a couple pieces there that's gonna have to be cleaned up. But that's what a flat disc and an angle grinder's for. I just broke that. That's nice. On the base part itself, the base part seems like it came off a little bit more rough. But not too bad, not too bad. Again, you got some spots there that's gonna need cleaned up. But again, that's why we got angle grinders and flap disc. So I took a flap disc to the back side of these and they're looking a lot better. They're about 95% straight, 95% clean. That's the pit itself there. And then here is the base, cleaned up pretty decent, nice and smooth. Ready for the next step, and that's going to be welding a piece of flat steel on this thing. So it'll sit like that with the flat steel down here. And over here, we're not going to waste a full piece of steel. We'll probably just weld something kind of across there, or maybe an X or something like that. I'm not sure yet. Haven't thought that far ahead. But that's where we're sitting at right now, ready to do some more welding.